Melikilikimaka is the thing to say on a white Hawaiian Christmas day. Hello and welcome to Snow Me the Podcast, episode 3. Well, Harry, this might be, we might have Hawaiian listeners out there.
Cheese Central, okay, off you go.
No, I've sung now. I've done my bit. It's your turn. We are Harrie and Lorraine. This is episode 3 of, as I said, Snow Me the Podcast, as it's the festive season. Today we'll be talking about all things Stranger Things. We'll have our Flashback Film Club segment as well, and a few extra bits added in also. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet listened to episode 1 or 2, then why don't you go back to SoundCloud or iTunes and have a listen. Episode 1 is Getting to Know Us, here in our top 5. And episode 2 is All Things Thor Ragnarok. And we've also got 2 special guests. So go give it a listen and then get on to episode 3, which will be Stranger Things. And I must stress, if you haven't watched Stranger Things, there will be spoilers.
There will be
many spoilers. So get watching it. It's one of those programs that you can literally binge watch. It's on Netflix. I did it each episode in 2 settings. What did you do it in, Harry?
I did the first one in 1 setting and then the second in 2.
Yeah, so you can really.
I do have a life.
I don't. Yeah, so go back and watch them too. And then when you've watched them, come back and listen to episode 3 of Show Me the Podcast and let us know what you think.
Yeah, do it. Right. So this is a new segment. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about what we've watched recently. So Lorraine, what have you watched recently?
Well, the first thing I watched was a film actually you told me about, was called Dark Places.
I know her so well.
I know. She texted me going, I think this will be right up your street. So yeah, it's on Netflix. I'm not actually going to give any spoilers away because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah,
so,
we won't be spoilers.
Yeah, I won't be spoiling this. But basically it stars Charlize Theron, Nicholas Hoult, Chloe Grace Moretz and Christina Hendricks. Oh. And basically Charlize Theron is now an adult, obviously. And she basically was there when her family were murdered, her 2 sisters and 2 sisters and her mother, and her brother was accused of the crime.
Right.
And it's basically about did he or didn't he do it? And she gets involved in this club known as a Kill Club, which they basically investigate crimes. And this one is... You
would love a club like that.
Maybe. It's run by Nicholas Hoult. And
right, okay.
Yeah, so basically she's like... They pay her to come along because, she... like they want people... Them. Yeah, to them she's a celebrity. So they're trying to basically convince her to go see her brother, find out what's happened. Because obviously this is like 25 years, I think it is, later. And she still thinks he's guilty. And it's basically about whether or not he did this or not. And plus there's some other things that he did as a young boy in it, and that comes out of whether he actually did it or not. Right. So it's actually a really good film if you're into crime thrillers. It's not an amazing film, it's not out there, but it's got a good cast, and I would definitely recommend it for, a Sunday evening film.
That leaves you haunted on Monday.
Leaves you haunted on Monday. You get all the answers at the end, which is good. But yeah, it's not, it's not a jolly Christmas film or anything. So I wouldn't go in with any.
So maybe watch it in the new year.
Yeah,
January
maybe
blues.
After Christmas when you're sad and fat. But this film, yeah, I'd give it 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd give it 3 out of 5. It's definitely worth a watch, but it's not anything exceptional.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have to say a film that I've watched recently is of the same rating. I'm going to jump straight in there. And again, not exceptional, but I enjoyed watching it and would recommend watch on a Sunday afternoon.
With a hangover.
Yeah. It's called Burnt. It's on Netflix at the moment, and it's got Bradley Cooper and Sienna Miller and a range of other actors in it. It's about a chef striving for his 3rd Michelin star, and he opens up a restaurant with people that he's messed up in the past. He's offended them in the past. And
he opens the restaurant with them?
Yeah, there's a whole backstory there, which I won't ruin. It's really quite intense, especially when it depicts like what it's like to be in a well-regarded kitchen. Is that what they call it? I don't know. This is how much I know about the chefdom.
The chefdom.
The chefdom. But I can tell you now, I don't want to be a chef watching this film because my language back at the chef would be atrocious.
Yeah, but chefs do swear, so you
Yeah.
probably fit right in. I've never worked with a
Maybe
chef
I
that
shouldn't be the
hasn't
chef.
swore. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it's very good. If you're kind of into a sort of mainly British cast, sort of British sort of vibe film, they don't really go into detail about the food, so it's not kind of a foodie film. It's more about the making of the food, if that makes sense. So yeah, watch that. It's good.
What would you give that out of 5?
I said at the beginning I'd give it 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was have you watched any more?
I did. I watched the film last night.
Oh.
And I went old school. I actually rented this. And I'm sorry to disappoint. I did not walk to a video store, which I would have loved to do.
Even can anymore.
I know, and I missed that. Browsing the shelves to see what you wanted. But no, I rented it from Amazon.
This is a bit of a backstory about myself and Lorraine. During university, as well as doing a film studies degree, we also worked in a film rental store.
Blockbusters.
Can we say that?
Well, I've just said it.
Well, she's just said it. Yeah, we worked in Blockbusters. It was amazing.
I don't think Blockbusters are anymore.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were 4 of us in the house that we rented out of 5 that
Worked in Blockbusters.
Worked in Blockbusters. So we had 40 free film rentals a week.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was
We were very
awesome.
popular those few years, weren't
We really were.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, your next film.
Well, as I said, I watched it last night, and I may have watched it again today
Okay.
because it was so freaking good. I loved it.
What was it?
Baby, baby. I watched Baby Driver.
Yay! Sorry for your ears.
Oh my god, it was so good. I swear to God, what I loved about it was whenever you watch
that's made my Christmas.
I know, that's why I didn't want to tell you because I wanted to see your reaction. It's like, when you watch a Tarantino movie and it's got the most amazing soundtrack. And that's one thing. I mean, I love Tarantino movies, but it was his music that I thought was just amazing. Like, he really nailed it. And I think Edgar Wright totally gets it in this. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like every song is like perfect to every scene. And that opening scene, because like I suggested it to my partner and he was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, please, we need to watch this. And we did. And like, if you've got kids, make sure they're away for the night because this is a film that needs volume.
Yes, it is.
You need to be able to turn it up and it's loud. Car scenes, music, it's shooting, it's very loud. And when that opening scene with bell bottoms and he sat in the car,
it has to be loud.
Oh my God. And that car scene.
So good.
Oh my God. It's like a dance. And I don't think
It is like a dance.
It is. And the whole way through, I was noticing, like, even when he literally does a dance when he comes out and at the start and he's walking down the street and
that was me.
He's so adorable, that guy.
He is.
Ansel
He's up for
Elgort, yeah.
just to interrupt. He got nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor for that film.
Did he?
And I'm really happy.
Yeah, he was so unbelievably likable. Okay, so basically this film is pure action. If you want amazing car scenes, this is it. Kevin Spacey is in it and he's freaking brilliant. Like, he is a great actor, and unfortunately what's happened has happened.
Yeah.
So I did watch it with a bit, oh shit, like, do you know what I mean?
But you shouldn't, no matter what your opinion is of this current situation, you
definitely.
shouldn't let his part in the film affect your appreciation of the film, because hundreds of people had an influence in making this film, and they deserve the credit for it.
Yeah, because we're kind of getting to the stage now, do we mention such and such? But no, it's a really good film, and I would highly recommend it, and I wish I'd seen it at the cinema, if I'm honest with you.
Oh yes, you should.
But I've watched it twice already.
Yeah,
and I only rented it yesterday.
I'm good.
So, but the music is absolutely amazing. It's so good. So, I mean, if I'd watched this when we did our top 5, I think I would have put it in as my top 5.
I love you, Lorraine.
Yeah, that's so good. It's so good.
That's made me really happy.
Have you got anything TV related?
I have. I've recently watched a series called Godless.
I tried.
Oh, really?
I think I need to. I've got halfway through episode 1.
It's a slow burner.
Yeah,
it really takes. It does take a long time to kick in. However, I'm so glad I watched it to the end. It's got a fantastic finale.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. I was a bit, here's the word, ambivalent of, gosh, what's his name? Jeff Daniels. Is it Jeff Daniels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Being the bad guy, so to speak, in it. Because I can't see him as a bad guy. However, I have watched a few things since watching Godless where he's a bit of a shady character. So it felt a bit better in...
I think he's an actor that doesn't get enough credit.
Well, yeah.
He's one of those guys that
you
you probably don't really know much about. And so when he does get a role like that, because you see him kind of as the comedic character.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's someone that doesn't... Because when I watched the bit with him, and I do think he's someone that doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah. No, I do feel bad for originally thinking, oh, you're not going to make a good bad guy. But throughout the entire series, he pulls it off. He pulls it off. He gets quite sinister in parts. And there's some really interesting backstories. This isn't a spoiler. It's set in a town called La Belle. And this town is predominantly run by women because all the menfolk died in a mining accident. And they're beginning to sort of experience what it's like to be the powerful ones in that period. I think it's like 19th century.
Yeah.
So, it's a really interesting take on sort of, I suppose, feminism to a degree. It's not so much, but yeah, it's but don't let that put you off if you're judgmental that way. Have a watch because it's got storylines for both men and women, and it's a good Western. So
cool.
Yeah. It's on Netflix.
Well, something TV related. Well, on Netflix, should I say that?
I give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
I don't really know about this show. It is on Netflix, and my partner introduced me to it, and we've watched about 7 episodes. It's called Big Mouth. I
haven't heard of that.
It's an animated one by Nick Kroll. It's really strange, and I don't know if I like it or not. My partner loves it. He's the one who introduced me to it. And it's basically about these kids at school who, one of them has like a monster conscience who's there, and it's constantly encouraging them, but to masturbate.
I knew you were going to say that word.
And it's just basically about kids growing up, but it's so graphic, and it's just like... masturbation, periods, sex. It's just, it doesn't stop.
I take it that's not a recommendation.
Well, my partner likes it. He loves it. He thinks it's hilarious. And I do laugh, actually, at some parts of it. And it's very well done. For what they do, it is very well done.
It's just a specific
But I'm not going to mark it out of 5 because I don't know. Because I'm so confused by it, if I'm honest with you. I really am. But I'm still watching it with him. But I do fall asleep because we always watch it in bed at night. But yeah, it's a strange one. Okay. So maybe give it a go if you're into boy adolescent humour. I think that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. So.
It doesn't sound like...
I don't think you'd like it. No, but Dev thinks it's hilarious. He watched season 1 and then got me to watch it with him. So
okay,
yeah. So I don't know.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a couple of weeks on your review of that. You're out of 5 rating for that then.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so...
no, I've got one more.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
How rude.
Maybe I have one more.
I saw The Disaster Artist recently at the cinema.
I've never heard of that.
Well, you might not have, but it's a film directed and starring James Franco as...
I have heard of it.
As Tommy Wiseau, and he's a real-life guy. He funded, wrote and directed a film called The Room, which is notoriously known as the worst movie ever made. And he's
even worse than Ed Wood movies.
No, well, this is what it's often compared to.
Okay.
But it's got a whole cult following now. There's
Okay.
like screenings which Tommy Wiseau and Wiseau, something like that.
Yeah.
And the other guy, I can't remember his name. Dave
Franco.
No, he plays his character. I've forgotten his name. I do apologise if you...
Oh, is Dave in it, his brother?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
right.
plays this other guy. Basically, Tommy Wiseau befriended this actor, this wannabe actor, took him under his wing, and and Tommy Wiseau is a really eccentric character. And this guy's kind of in awe of his confidence. And it's how they kind of go to LA, try to be actors and fail, and they're like, well, we'll make our own film. Or more Tommy is, and he kind of just pushes this guy along. But it's really interesting, and it's a true story. Dave and James Franco are fantastic in it. More so the latter, I think, because he's in prosthetics and he's doing an accent and everything. But I took my partner along, and he didn't have a clue what The Room was. I knew bits from watching various things.
Yeah.
But we've been quoting it all week. It's because we saw it last Saturday and it's Friday today. But it's one to watch, I think, because it's sad, it's funny, and it's totally bizarre. So if that's what you're into, watch it. I give it 4 out of 5.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
When it comes to DVD. I mean,
What are
Amazon. VHS.
Aww.
Beta.
What's Beta?
Betamax.
Eh?
Our video recorder growing up was Betamax.
Isn't that was a brand, wasn't it? Like,
It was Betamax videotapes, yeah. You either were Betamax or VHS.
okay. Sure.
It's a real thing.
No, I believe you. I'm trying to think of. I swear there's a theme tune. You know, like with Sega, it's Sega. But I swear Betamax. I'm wrong. Right then. We're gonna get on to the next segment, which is some feedback from our listeners.
Okay. You haven't explained this feedback to me yet. What is it?
Well,
Is there a reason?
There is a reason.
Okay.
Recently,
I'm scared.
on Twitter, as the Show Me the Podcast Twitter feed, I retweeted a post by another film person who would, and they were talking about to that day being the celebration of 2 James Bond films, and I retweeted it saying, those are my favourite James Bond films. And my co-host here, Lorraine, jumped on the bandwagon and went, basically, screw those. It's all about Moonraker. And
it is.
It was almost a divorce right there, I have to say. But she's shaking her head. But somebody else picked up on this tweet.
And agreed that Moonraker was the best one.
No, they did not. They actually messaged us and said, basically, they respect what we say.
They must have messaged you privately, because I have no recollection of such message.
Yes, they did. They're a colleague.
Is this Luke?
It is. This is Mr. Luke Harrison. He basically said he will refuse to review us on iTunes if you don't renounce your love for Moonraker. And we need those reviews, people. We need them. So put the pressure on her now.
I stay true to myself at all times, Luke. Moonraker is the best motherfucking James Bond film out there.
Bullshit. Sorry.
So do you know what you can do? I'm only messing. Please leave us a review. No, I do. I really like it. I love Jaws.
He is in another Bond film, by the way.
Which one?
Oh, Alex. It's not A View to Kill. It's another one, but he's in it. He is.
Okay.
So
I'll have to look that up.
screw Moonraker and watch that one and pretend that's your favourite.
I love Moonraker.
Okay. What is it about it that you love?
I don't remember. I just remember that I love it. No, I love Jaws in it. I think he's
love Bond in space.
No, I love Jaws.
I love Jaws.
I love Jaws.
Then go watch the film about the sharks.
I love that film too.
I do love that film. Anyway.
Yeah. But no, I do. I there's so many Bond films anyway. You've got to let people have their favourite, and it doesn't have to be...
Yeah, but that is notoriously known as the worst one.
Well, then I like the worst Bond film out there.
She said it, people.
I've said it. And I stand by my choice.
Look.
I'm going to have a drink now.
Oh, by the way, if you can hear jingling, it's not because you've got some random cat hidden in your room. It's my hat, my Christmas hat. I'm dressed as an elf.
Yeah.
And Lorraine's Santa.
I am Santa, so be good, Luke, or you won't get any presents under the Christmas tree. Aww, poor Luke.
I kind of forgotten the theme tune.
Is that your Stranger Things
Yeah.
attempt? Sounds exactly the same.
I know, uncanny. It's time for Stranger Things. All things Stranger Things.
Freaking love it.
This was created by the Duffer Brothers. They sometimes write and direct episodes also. And it's executively produced by Sean Levy? That guy. He's really smiley. He seems nice.
He is very smiley. Yeah. So Stranger Things is set in the 80s, 1983, in a small town called Hawkins in Indiana. It's basically about a young boy who goes missing after having a game of Dungeons and Dragons with his friends over at one of their houses. He's on his way home and he basically disappears. And while searching for him, various people start to come across strange happenings that are going on within their small town that they weren't really aware of. Secret experiments, supernatural forces, and then it basically all kicks off when a little girl known as 11 is discovered by these 3 boys as they're looking for their friend.
Yep.
And once she's discovered, various things start happening that will eventually lead us to find out what has happened to Will, who is the young boy who went missing. I didn't say his name.
Yeah, it starts off. The first episode starts off with the 4 boys playing Dungeons and Dragons. You've got Will, Mike,
Dustin and Lucas.
And Will is cycling home, and there's a strange being following him, and you basically get the impression that he's either been killed or abducted.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know at this stage.
No, you don't know at this stage. And then his mum, who's played by Winona Ryder.
Which is a big comeback for her because we haven't really seen anything with her for a long time. And she was a huge 80s star.
Yeah, very good casting there.
Yeah, she does the part well.
Yeah, she gets involved, obviously wanting to find out where her son is. And then Police Chief Hopper comes along, and he's also got a sad backstory. So it's the development of all these characters and their families. Lorraine.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite character? I'm just going to go straight in there.
Jim Hopper, the chief of police.
Yeah, he's a good one.
But to be fair, I've watched Stranger Things twice now. And when I watched him first in season 1, I wasn't overly fond of him. I thought he was a bit of a dick, really. And then I watched him in 2, and I loved him in season 2. But then I went back and watched 1 again, and I just loved him. I think I didn't really see him for who he was in the first time I watched season 1. But he's definitely my favourite. I love him in it. I think he's just brilliant. He
is a great character. And he's got, not to sound cheesy, he's got quite a lot of depth. And I think on a second viewing of both the series, you see that a lot more.
Yeah.
And appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can watch more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what I like about it. Who's your favourite character?
I do like Hopper, but in season 1, I'd say he was. But in the second season, he's come a little bit out of the left field, and that's Steve. I just think...
Oh, Steve.
I just love his character development. I think it's great. The whole Big Brother thing towards the end of season 2, I just love that, and I'm glad that came into it, because I think it... because of the way that the show is, especially with its 80s sort of homage, the throwback to like the Goonies and, you know, the brother in that kind of going along in the end and trying to look after his brother. It kind of felt like that to me, and I like that. Because I love the Goonies. So
everybody loves the Goonies.
And speaking of the Goonies, the casting of Sean Astin in this season was
I thought it was brilliant.
Good.
And he actually was only meant to be in it for a short while, but they grew his character a bit more because of how
killed him.
Well, no, but he was in it a lot more than what he was supposed to be, because he was only supposed to be kind of like a little bit in it for a little while, but because he was so loved and he was doing such a good job, that they actually kept him in it for longer. And I thought his character was brilliant. I was actually really sad that they killed him off, because
it was a sad death.
Yeah, no, it was, because I think he was a bit of a light relief.
Yeah,
because he didn't really know what was going on, but yet he was still willing to like help within this completely bizarre family.
You kind of felt a bit safe with him in the scene, didn't you? Because he was oblivious to it all. Yeah, and it was nice to kind of feel that way.
Yeah, no,
like, I never felt scared for him at any point. In fact, I felt like he'd be the hero, and then at that one point he was becoming one. But then I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna kill him," and they did. So,
no, I wish they hadn't killed him off. I thought he was great. But you were saying about Steve. Yeah, in season 1, when he's the popular kid in the school, so he's he's a bit of a dick. Like, do you know what I mean? And he breaks Jonathan's camera, who is Will's brother. Yeah. And he's actually going out with Mike's sister Nancy. Yeah. And she slowly is thinking he's being a bit of a dick herself, doesn't she? So she kind of starts going towards Jonathan. Yeah. Not in so much a romantic manner, but there is a bit of a pretty and pink love triangle there.
Yeah. I've seen 3/4 of that film, so I know the reference.
Definitely a love triangle going on there.
But yeah.
But so in the first one, I think when you were saying the second one how he completely redeems himself, I think that's...
but I think he does even towards the end of season 1. When he shows up at the...
Yeah, because while Jonathan and Nancy are trying to capture the monster, obviously he comes over to apologise, and he then continues to help them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, I like him. He starts off a bit crap, but I think it's more he's just doing what he thinks he has to do rather than who he wants to be because of this nice side that comes out. But then in, obviously, season 2, you have the introduction of Billy, who takes over from that role very well, although he's a lot worse.
Yeah, he's a nasty guy.
Because he wants to be like that, whereas Steve, you can tell, he holds back a little bit.
He wants to be like that, but then he also doesn't. You kind of reveal that he's kind of conditioned that way by his dad, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose.
But I know they kind of needed a human bad guy element to it, because you've obviously got the other beings from the Upside Down who are the bad guys, and you've got the scientists as well who aren't necessarily that bad in this season.
Well, in season 1, Dr. Brenner is played by Matthew Modine.
But he's like the human bad element in this, but it didn't translate massively well. I thought they were going to take it to an even darker place, and I'm glad they didn't. But his relationship with Max, I thought was perhaps going to be a bit more sinister, and that's not what I wanted, and I'm glad it didn't turn that route. But it just fell a bit short for me.
Oh, I thought he was horrible.
He was horrible, but I was just kind of like, you're just a bit of a scene filler sometimes.
Okay.
Especially like towards the end. Whether he's got more to come in the next seasons, if he's in it.
I did like the scene though, where the sister has gone. They don't know where she is, and he goes over to Mike's house.
Yeah, that was funny.
The mum comes down just out of the bath, and he's there charming her,
looking like the front cover of the book.
I know, she's looking at his butt, and I just thought, I thought that was quite funny actually. Again, a little bit of a light relief to quite a dark show.
Yeah. But again, I've watched the film, but you'd probably get you got the reference before I even did, where you said he was like Rob Lowe in St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, I mean, he looked so like him, and I seen him in an interview with Kevin Smith, and he said that he was told to actually go and watch The Shining, to look at Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson.
One of Lorraine's top 5 films of life so far.
Definitely. Which he's not quite Jack Nicholson. He's not that far gone, as in the Shining character, but I think he's pretty messed up, and I think I don't know if I don't think he will now, but like you said, I actually did think he could go a lot darker than what he did. So, but I like you, nobody needs to see that.
No, and I'm glad they didn't do that.
No, but he did. He was great casting, and he looked, like I said, Rob Lowe, exactly like the hair, the way he stood, the way he talked, the way he was with women. It was completely Rob Lowe, except in St. Elmo's Fire, Rob Lowe wasn't so psychotic. He was just a bit crazy.
He's a bit sad, really.
A bit sad, yeah. But so I think he's a bit sad too, because, you
do feel a little bit sorry for him when you realise what his dad's like.
Yeah, his dad's not nice.
And then he goes and does that to Steve, and you're like, no, I'm glad you got a bit beaten up by your sister.
Yeah, no, exactly. But
not that I endorse violence. I'm never so sorry, but I'm going to have to take the jingle off because my head's getting really hot.
It's too hot. Yeah, I'll take mine off too. My Santa hat.
We're still festive, though. We're still festive.
We're still very festive. So, did you feel like this show really represented, kind of all the way through for me, E.T.?
Yes, especially in this season, the second season. Sorry.
Well, I felt more with season 1, because basically the way she obviously comes in, and they don't know where she's from. She's got all these powers, and plus the way they dress her up in the blonde wig, the way they're on the bikes, the way they're getting from the government, the way rather than flying off into the air, that she flips the van. I mean, but one thing, I don't feel like while it's very similar, I don't feel like it's copying and trying to get away with it. Oh, nobody will know. I just think it's a great homage to a lot of these 80s films, the way that they put it in. But I think E.T. for me is the main film.
Yeah, you're right. I think there's also an element, well, quite obviously in one scene, and especially in the second season, of Close Encounters of the Third Kind by Spielberg. Especially with the way the mum is in her... She's almost a bit like... I can't remember the character's name now, but she's almost a bit like the female character in Close Encounters, where she's just like desperate to know what's going on and where her child is and stuff. And also that scene where Will, in the second series, where Will gets out of bed and he sees the light through the door and he's like, oh my God, that's straight out of Close Encounters. So yeah, I see. I mean, there's lots of films in there, but I think those two would be the main two, E.T. and Close Encounters, that they reference. Oh, and the Goonies as well. Stand By Me. Little references here and there to a lot of
Aliens,
things.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, no, there is lots there, but I think they're done in a really complementary way to the actual original film. It's not like...
It's never like we're doing it and we're doing it better.
It's it's
like
just...
we totally loved you and we're honouring you in this
format. And I think for people, you know, who grew up in the 80s, or even people now who have been introduced to all these films in the 80s, I think, you know, that's why for me anyway, a lot of this, I like it because I love that whole genre.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, they do it so well. Like it's like you're back in the 80s, but with, you know, it's a bit more technologically enhanced, you know.
It suits our modern, sort of the present day cinematic scope, but has that element.
Definitely. But still, but because the intro, the music at the start.
As soon as I saw that in the first series, the first time I watched it, I got goosebumps. I was just like, ooh.
And I actually get annoyed now because when you watch it on Netflix, it now does that skip intro and it just does it automatically.
Oh, does it?
It's been doing that automatically, and I'm like, no, I want to.
You must be able to turn it off because I can.
Oh, can you? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because I'm like, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I just love it. I think it's really good. But someone actually that we haven't discussed, which I think is a big part of it, is Barb.
Yeah, that was one. I mean, they did it very well with how they got the justice for Barb in the second series with the storyline.
Yeah.
And no offense to Barb, but I can give a shit. I mean, it was awful the way she went, and she was Nancy's best friend. And you know, if I were Nancy, I'd probably feel the same. But she was a bit of a throwaway character for me in the first season, and I don't get the whole #justice for Barb thing. I was just like, done.
That's a bit harsh.
I'm so sorry. I don't
God
mean it.
help me if I get taken by some monster. Dude, I'd be like, you're just some throwaway character.
You are not my throwaway character. But I don't know.
Well, maybe the whole point of Barb, I don't know, this is just me going off here, is the fact that obviously when Barb goes missing, Nancy's with Steve.
Yeah.
And Jonathan is there taking photographs.
Yeah.
And then when he has the pictures, you know, Steve rips him up, breaks his camera, and then she picks up, do you remember she picks up a pile of the photos and then she starts to piece together what happened. And then she starts, you know, interacting more and more with Jonathan. So maybe it's more to do with their relationship building a little bit rather than poor Barb. Maybe she's just a bit of a pawn to get them two together.
I have to say, and I normally like the whole romance thing, but I'm not fussed about Nancy and Jonathan. They don't float my boat.
Well, actually, I actually agree with you on that because I think when I'm watching this, I know it may be a bit. I mean, I think they're needed, but I'm more interested in what the boys are doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of screen time.
And Hopper.
Yeah.
And Joyce and Bob. I just want to know because their stuff is a bit more exciting. Although I must admit, the scene with Jonathan and Nancy when she goes through the tree, I thought that was good.
That was great. But again, it wasn't... I think they had... And, it could probably amount to the same amount of time, but I felt in this season too that they had more screen time. And I kind of wandered off in my head a little bit during that.
Well, I thought that, actually, saying that about season 2, I thought that 11 wasn't present enough in season 2.
No, she wasn't. And then they devoted that whole episode to it. They spaced it out completely wrong, I think.
Yeah, no, I kind of was wondering. I remember thinking, I was watching, I remember thinking, oh, she mustn't have spent much time with the cast, because she just wasn't there. And she's kind of, for me, like the main character.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
But then I suppose the big reveal at the end of season 2, I was like, oh my God, she's back. She's back.
Oh, when she walked through that door.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
That was epic. No, it was. No, I just thought that she, like, I think the whole way through when she gets mad and she wants to meet Mike and he won't let her. And I wanted her to meet him. And then when she went to the school and she nearly met him, when I seen that reveal, I was glad she didn't. Although I wanted it the entire time. And wasn't it like episode 8?
It's at the end of episode 8.
End of episode 8. And there's only one more episode then after that, isn't there? So I kind of all the way through was thinking, where's 11? Because I wanted more of 11 in it. Because I think she's such a good character.
She's great.
She is amazing. And I like her. Like, while I liked Max, I did like Max.
Yeah,
I thought she was good. And part of me, like the way 11 treated her when she actually did meet her was a bit mean. But at the same time, I was kind of like going, you're not 11. You can't be in this gang. Because I did like 11 with the boys. I thought she was brilliant with them. And Max, while she was good, she wasn't quite there.
I think the thing with Max is, whereas 11 was the girl with the boys, Max isn't. She's like a tomboy. She wants to be one of the lads, and that's her frustration because they're not allowing her
to be in the gang.
Yeah, one of them is treating her like.
Yeah, they are quite mean to her. I think
are.
they need to kind of like Mike.
Yeah,
Mike's really, really mean to her.
But and it's definitely revealed in the last episode. He's going through a lot of inner turmoil, and I completely got that off the bat. I got why he was a dick. Obviously, from her point of view, I was like, "Ooh, what a knob," but what a knob. But the other boys, Lucas is the only one who's nice to her, and obviously
I feel Lucas is kind of the voice of reason through the whole thing.
Yeah, he's definitely
the voice of reason. Like Dustin's like, as I think you said it, like Chunk and Sloth from the Goonies with. What's
I said that off air, but yeah.
What's his creature called? What did he call it?
Dart.
Yeah. The way when he gives him the nougat.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah, it is totally.
Hey, you guys.
he is. And I love Dustin, and he's not a chunky monkey in any way, but he is kind of a bit of the chunk character in it, mixed with a few other characters. Yeah. But in the few scenes, I thought, are they referencing the Goonies there with that?
Yeah, no, he's because it's kind of like Mike is like the emo one, and then Lucas is like the grown-up voice of reason one, and Dustin is like the comedic.
He's like
friend.
A bit of mouth, a bit of chunk.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I did think that I wanted more of 11 in it. Because I actually at points I forgot about her.
No, I completely.
And I was like, oh my God. And then when she was there, I was like, oh, it's 11. And I felt like I liked that she went and met her mum. As sad as that was.
Fall to the right. Rainbow.
I know.
Sunflower. Oh,
it was so sad.
So sad.
But then they did episode 7. Which...
It just felt like they were striving really hard to kind of make an X-Men vibe out of it, and it just didn't work. It was just
It wasn't for me.
I mean, I was watching it, and I kind of appreciated it, but then I realised, I was like, oh my God, I'm watching Stranger Things. It just felt like a completely different show, and I don't think that they needed... sorry, Duffer Brothers, I think you're great, but I think you've got better writing in you, because they didn't need to write... 11's arc in that way. She could have found that way of finding her inner rage, her way of channeling her power in a different way. She could have found it like with her aunt or something.
Yeah, which I thought was what she was going to do.
Yeah, I know. And then it just went a bit off kilter. And I don't know whether they were trying to do that so they could do a spin-off series.
Like, are they going to be in season 3?
I really hope not.
Yeah,
but I don't mind.
I don't mind the girl.
Yeah, I don't mind 8.
Yeah, I don't mind her, but the rest of them...
Yeah, they can fuck off.
Yeah. Harsh words.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think... I think with 11, definitely, she wasn't used enough. It'd probably just be me wanting to see more of her. I just thought,
I think throughout it felt like she wasn't used enough, but then at the end, with the impact of her reveal, I thought it worked. But
Yeah, I suppose they needed to do that to make the impact of the reveal more of an impact.
I thought they could have, but perhaps there could have been a bit more like development behind the scenes. I know with the way they did it in the house, there probably wasn't much scope for that, but it just could have done, better next time.
Yeah, that's our little tip. Do it better next time.
You're doing a great job, but
No, I am. Apparently, season 3 isn't out until 2019.
This makes me so sad.
I know. Like Game of Thrones.
And they're all going to be a bit older then as well. So
well, hopefully they're aged like the Harry Potter kids, because I remember there was talk about changing them, but luckily they actually aged very well with regards to what age they were. They didn't all of a sudden look 17 when they were 12. Like so.
Slight side note. Today, I went to buy some alcohol, and the woman at the counter looked at me, went, and then she went, "No, yeah, you don't need it." I was just like, "Oh." Felt pretty bad.
I got ID'd last year, didn't I?
Yes, she did.
At 42. Just saying.
Well.
Sorry, back to Stranger Things.
Yes. What's your opinion on the scientists in this second season compared to the first season? So you've
Dr. Owens.
Yeah.
No, he I think he's a lot more sympathetic this time.
Oh yeah.
Because Dr. Brenner in season 1 was very you're here for a purpose.
Yeah,
that's all you're here for. Whereas Dr. Owens is he helps them out a bit more, like, when he helps Eleven
he's
out.
trying to fix the problem.
Yeah, he's trying to sort the problem out. And even when the monsters are coming through, he helps Bob's character get through. He helps 11 with getting her a birth certificate, and so you can tell, like, he's got some compassion there.
Yeah.
And he helps Will. He tries to help Will quite a lot, doesn't he?
But you're not sure at the beginning, are you?
No, I thought he was, because like we were talking about films that influenced this, and Aliens is one. And Paul Reiser, who plays Dr. Owens, was actually in Aliens, but he was a company man in that too, but he wasn't as nice. He gets killed, so you get what you deserve at the end. Yeah, shit happens. But in this, no, he's a lot. I like him in this, but like you said, I wasn't sure how it was going to go, because you could tell he was a replacement for Dr. Brenner, and you thought he was going to be the same way. But as the episodes go on, you realise that while he is there for a reason, his job, he also realizes that, hang on a second, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And he starts trying to
fix it,
make it better. Yeah, to sort it out. So, but I liked him, and I thought he did a really good job, and I hope he's in season 3.
I think he will be. One way
Definitely.
or another.
I think good cast. What's one thing about this show? Like, everyone they've cast, I really like.
Well, there's a theory that Modine's character's coming back, so I wonder if there's a conflict of power in terms of.
But didn't he get killed?
Well, you didn't see it necessarily.
Yeah, you just seen him being attacked.
Perhaps he's been a douchebag and the other upside down or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, because he's really not nice. He has no interest. He just wants.
There were touches of. I mean, from Eleven's point of view, with Papa, him being that character, there were touches of him, for seeing it from her point of view, is that he's, he takes compassion on her, especially when she doesn't want to be put in that cell, and he picks her up and carries her. But then from an outsider's point of view, like, you mother fudging.
Yeah, he's basically an abusive parent.
Yeah, no, totally.
No, he is.
But I think she might perhaps feel a bit conflicted if he comes back as well.
Yeah, of course she will, because what's that phrase when people
Stockholm
syndrome. Yeah. So, but no, I think he was a good addition to it.
Yes, he was. Yeah, I quite liked that he was a nice guy this time.
Yeah.
But I think there's plenty of stuff to come from that lab in the next series, perhaps.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know what they're going to do, because but I was the same with the end of season 1. I was like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
But they actually, season 2 was a really good season with the introduction of new characters, and what they did with Will, very The Exorcist.
He was so good as well. That Noah, what's his surname? Schnapp. That's
Schnapp.
it. He acted that whole role very well.
Yeah, no, he did. He, like, the way that monster took him over. I suppose that's, like we said, The Exorcist. And the way it was able to. It likes it cold. And the way it was able to control him to get him to do those things where those people got killed. It told him what to do. And
that
then
scene was dark.
It was really dark, and I like the way, like with Joyce, because you can tell with her she's such a caring parent, and she adores her boys, and the way when he likes it cold, so she completely heats the house up, and does everything she can to make him as uncomfortable as possible.
That scene where he grabs her neck, I was like, dude, that's Winona Ryder. But I thought her deep-rooted love to go that far to get her boy back was awesome. I thought it was great. I like towards the end of season 2, as you've kind of got through the other references to films. You've got the Goonies, Spielberg, all those kind of all the kind of references there, and then it kind of goes really John Hughes-esque at the prom, and I just love that. When Dustin's like sat there crying, I was like, oh.
And Nancy comes up and dances.
Yeah, there was a lot of lovely elements to the ending of the season, and I liked that.
I didn't think it was going to end like that. I actually thought once, just before that, I thought it was going to end there, so I thought it was a nice little touch.
Well, no, because I remembered from the first season that Mike was just like, maybe you could come to the snowball with me, and I thought, I wonder if they're going to end it with the snow, and they did. Yeah.
No, I thought that was a nice little touch, the way Lucas ends up with Max, and because like Dustin fancies Nancy, doesn't he? So he gets that dance.
Yeah.
And then obviously 11 comes in. So yeah, no, I thought it was, and Will gets asked. Yeah, I thought it was a nice little touch at the end.
Yes, definitely. So what do you think is going to happen in season 3?
Again, like the end of season 2, end of season 1. Sorry, I haven't a clue. I don't know. I don't know what they can do with it. My mind isn't that good.
I have a feeling, and I might be wrong, but I reckon something's going to happen with Dustin taking a turn, because that.
Oh, because he took
Well, both him and Hopper.
Yeah.
Took in that spray or whatever from the upside down horrible
so they may get some sort of power.
I don't know, and I wonder if Will and 11, who might become kind of family, have a bit of a power off as well, because I reckon I don't think he's finished necessarily with being a conduit for the upside down,
or because at the end they showed it, didn't they?
Yeah, because that mind flayer, is that what it's called? He's got plans.
Yeah, because they showed it at the end, didn't they? Were they coming back? So yeah, no, I definitely think that Will be used.
I loved the design of the mind flayer.
Yeah,
he was so creepy, and his enormity.
I just thought of the War of the Worlds when I seen it there at the end.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely War of the Worlds.
Yeah. Oh, that terrified me.
Yeah, those big long legs,
and they used to build all the blood and stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward. I can't believe though it's going to be in 2019. That sucks. Get your act into gear, people.
Do you think it's going to be another Halloween situation? I hope it would be it would be nice if they do it earlier in the year and it's not like Halloween based or something.
No. Yeah. No, definitely. I want it next week. I want it now. I want to go home tomorrow.
Patience is a virtue.
No. I've got to wait for Walking Dead, I've got to wait for Game of Thrones, and now I've got to wait for...
Yeah, I think it sucks that we have to wait for two of the best TV shows.
Yeah, well, Walking Dead is February, but Game of Thrones is 19, and now Stranger Things.
Maybe 2018 will be the film for the year of film again, because 2017 has very much been TV is hot.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
So I wonder if that will be the case, and we'll be talking about a lot more films in the upcoming year.
Well, we did say film and TV.
Yeah.
It's not even TV, film and Netflix.
Occasionally Amazon Prime. I'm on that as well.
And Amazon, me too.
I have to say, I think it's great that they've been nominated for all those awards for the SAG,
SAG
and
Awards,
Golden Globes. It's nice that it's been recognised. Because I think I'm getting a sense that people are getting a bit like, hang on, why are all these TV shows sort of, you know, in the forerunning for a lot of stuff? And it's like, because they're worthy of it.
Well, I think TV now is seen in a different way. I remember years ago, it was kind of like, you know, the big time actors, they didn't do TV. And now the biggest stars
TV's
are
definitely
now
having its moment.
doing TV shows. Like, but I think the TV shows now are just so, you know, that they're so, you're captured, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just sit there and you like with things like Netflix, you get to binge watch it. So you get to watch it in one fell swoop. With things like The Walking Dead, unless you're, you know, haven't watched it before, you know, you have to wait every week, and you do wait every week. You know, you're literally wishing your week away because you want to know what bloody happens. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane. But and they're making huge stars. Like, while we knew who Andrew Lincoln was, who we knew who Norman Reedus was, now everybody knows who they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From, you know, not just Love Actually, or, you know, what was it, the Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boondog, is it? Boondock Saints, yeah. You know, now you know them because of...
He was in an episode of Charmed as well.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he was in a few things. I remember him from
He's in Watchmen.
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah?
Denny.
Yeah.
He was so nice in that. No, but I must admit, I love... Actually, no, I'm going to go up... We'll do a Walking Dead one at some point, because I
need to catch up.
Yeah, because I could talk about that forever. But yeah, so I think TV now, it's just as big as movies, you know? And like you said, like when you go in and watch a movie, you get to see it from start to finish. And I think now when you go in to watch Netflix, an original, you know, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, you can sit and watch it from start to finish. Or if you haven't watched certain things, you can go back onto Sky and watch the box sets and watch it from start to finish.
I think storytelling is changing ever so... Not necessarily changing, but I think people's appreciation of storytelling is changing. We obviously love film.
Yeah.
But I think the cinematic scope and the writing, we're kind of being given a longer, lengthier platform to appreciate it. It's not like, oh, have a couple of hours and that's your fill. It's actually like, have these 8 fantastic hours. We'll put the money behind this for you. And people are beginning to really appreciate that.
Because it's 8 amazing hours.
Yeah.
It's not like 4 good hours with a few bits in between.
Yeah.
It's actually... That's what I meant by the fact that now, you know, when season 3 of Stranger Things comes out, we will be able to sit down and watch that like a film if you have 8 or 9 hours to spare. Yeah. Which, to be honest with you, nowadays on a Sunday people will do, on an evening people will do, you know, or they're doing in 2 settings to, you know what I mean? So people will do that. So, you know, in a sense,
healthy,
sorry,
not necessarily healthy.
Well, no, do you know, every now and again, I don't think it's such a bad thing, you know, to kind of sit and relax, you know, and I will do it probably in 2 seconds.
No, same. I think it's part of our culture, and to deny it is, you know, you got to go with the times.
Exactly. So, yeah. So if you haven't yet seen Stranger Things, you probably shouldn't have been listening to this. And if you have seen it, then like us, you're probably really excited about season 3. And drop us a line, and which we will give you all the details at the end of the show, and let us know your thoughts. And if you've got any questions, then feel free to ask, or if you've got any insight into what we've been saying or can add, then let us know.
Right on.
Right on. All right.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to watching coming up?
I am actually. I am looking forward to... I haven't actually seen any other films, but Maze Runner, The Death Cure. I've seen a trailer for it. Yeah. And that's actually coming out in January, I think it is, next year. Oh, right. So it's quite soon. And it looks really... for cinema, when I go to the cinema, I like the film to be action-packed.
I do.
Do you know?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't go and watch like a love story at cinema. Yeah. I just have to go for the action. Not in that way.
Well, you did say you're an action whore.
I am an action whore, yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And that has Game of Thrones Littlefinger in it.
Oh yeah,
Aidan Gillen's in it.
Oh,
and
who's in Peaky Blinders at the moment?
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that
it's
yet.
so weird to see him.
Is
as
it?
Not.
I know, because you just think of him as Littlefinger,
Yeah.
don't you? So he's in that, and also Love Actually's Sam. Thomas Broden. Do you know
He's in Godless, that kid.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
And do you know the thing? He looks exactly the same, but a bit taller.
A bit longer.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. I was like going, how old is Love Actually? And he just looks exactly the same. So he's in it too. But that looks really good. So I'm looking forward to going to the cinema to see that. And I'm also looking forward to, because I love them, the Jurassic Park film, Fallen Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Which basically has Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard in it again. And that comes out, I think, the summer of 2018. And we also get Jeff Goldblum back as Ian Malcolm. He's back in it.
I know. And he goes, nature just finds a way.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
He's the type of guy that I just want to hang out with all the time.
I know. And not even
He's
converse
so quirky.
with, just listen to.
Yeah, just listen. Just tell me whatever you want. I'll sit and listen to you. I don't care what it's about. I'll just sit and listen. Just to watch you. Just to watch the hands going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are two big action films that I'm really looking forward to next year.
Cool.
I will make a trip to the cinema to see. What about yourself?
I'm really looking forward to something that's coming out in like the next week, and that is actually it'll probably be out when this is out.
Oh, okay. It's already out.
It's already out. It's Bright on Netflix by David Ayer. It's got Will Smith and
Oh yes, I have seen that one.
yeah, it's got
Well,
Will.
I've seen the clip. I haven't seen that.
It's got Will Smith and Joel Edgerton in, and it's kind of a modern day set in this dimension. Take on like elves and orcs and stuff, but in like modern day LA, and it looks right up my street. A mixture of, reality based drama with like guns and violence and stuff, but mixed with a bit of fantasy, which is just like amazing. So I'm really looking forward to
I'll
that.
definitely give that one a go.
I think that's going to be my next Saturday night wrapping presents. And I really like David Ayer, apart from Suicide Squad, but my personal belief is he got massively screwed over. So just watch the first ever trailer for Suicide Squad, and consider that the film. I'm also looking forward to seeing The Last Jedi, Star Wars. I'm probably going to go on Monday, so in our next podcast I'll probably have some things to say about that. And next year, yeah, I'm excited. There's a few things out, but I'll discuss those next year.
Okay, so now we've discussed Stranger Things, we're going to jump to our Flashback Film Club, where we're going to talk about a nice Christmassy film. La 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 If you haven't got it from our beautiful voices, it's Home Alone.
Yeah, boy.
That was the opening line, wasn't it?
Yeah. Man, I love this film. I'm so glad we're doing a Flashback Film Club for it. So this was filmed in 1990. So that's a long time. 27? Yeah, 27. I was trying to
27? I worked in finance.
I'm crap at finance. Yeah, that was 27 years ago. Directed by Chris Columbus, starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and
Daniel Stern, Catherine O'Hara, John Hurt, John Candy.
all the good ones.
All the good ones. Yeah, this was also, screenplay was by John Hughes.
Yeah. I didn't know that up until recently.
Yeah, no, I knew that because I love John Hughes.
Well, I do love John Hughes, but I just didn't know that.
Well, I love him.
It just seems a bit... However...
It's not John Hughesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not about teenagers and stuff. But then I think on reflection, it does have like the quirky, naughty elements of a John Hughes.
Yeah, and apparently I think this was his biggest grossing film.
Highest grossing... no, apparently it's the highest grossing live action comedy of all time. Yeah. That's pretty epic.
That is. So this film, for those of you who haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it, confusion, because it's everywhere and it's like the ultimate Christmas film.
It's on discount at Sainsbury's right now.
And it's for children and adults, but kids don't get any ideas. But basically it's about an 8-year-old boy called Kevin McAllister, who played by Macaulay Culkin, who is left behind at Christmas by his parents while they go off on holiday. And then lots of adventures begin.
Yeah, lots.
In the form of two burglars known as Harry and Marv. Harry!
What'd you do? What'd you do, Marv?
Who basically, the holiday season, they go to people's houses who have gone away.
We don't call it the holiday season here, though, do we? I'm just saying.
No, we don't.
As
do we?
a
The festive
cultural,
season.
analysis.
God. Picky.
Sorry.
I'll let Harry describe
No.
the theme.
Christmas?
Okay, so people go away in the Christmas season, and these con men, burglars, known as the Wet Bandits, decide that this is when you can rob people's houses because they're not there. But unfortunately, one of the houses they decide to rob has Macaulay Culkin in it, and he is there to cause havoc. Pain.
Lots of it.
Yeah. When you look back at the time I watched it and I thought, oh, this is so funny, it's so great. But this kid is sick in the head. And what he actually does would kill them.
I think it would kill them.
It would kill them.
But I think he's a ballsy kid.
No, he is a ballsy kid.
And
But
he was my idol as a child.
Okay, but let's face it. There's some sick shit going on there.
Yeah, I don't think you could make this film today and get away with it.
Because it might encourage kids
It'd
to
probably
do
be
something.
rated like 18 or something, wouldn't it? Do you know what I
It
mean?
should be an 18.
Don't listen to them, BFI.
Well, the way, I mean, like it's totally slapstick. What? It's totally slapstick. I can't say that word, humor. But, the things that he does to them. I mean, like the tar on the steps with the nails, the flamethrower, the
yeah, no, the whole
the blowtorch, the shards of glass, the heart,
iron to the face, the paint buckets to the face or head, or chest
everything's
or
to the face. Actually,
they'd have a lot of internal, situations going on.
And what that film, Harry? There's a film like when he gets the pizza and he's like, "Leave the change, you filthy animal." What film was that from?
It's not from a film, apparently. It is. It was. For years I thought, oh God, what
What
that
film is that? Yeah,
they reference.
Is it not a film?
No, in the film, in Home Alone, it's called Angels with Dirty Faces, and they made it for the film.
Really?
Yeah. I tell
I
you
feel
what,
like a bit of an idiot now for not knowing that.
No, I genuinely thought that for years as well. But I love. I mean, okay. Are you ready for this?
What are you going to do?
I tell you what, I'm going to give you, Snakes. I'm going to give you from the count of 10 to get you ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. Wait a minute, Johnny. 1, 2, 10. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
How do you know that?
I know by heart. Evidently. Best quote ever. But from a film that doesn't exist.
Wow.
I know.
I actually thought that was a film. I really did.
It would have been a good one.
It would have been a great one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this film basically, as we said, is about a kid who is trying to kill, for use of a better term.
He's not. He's just,
Sorry,
giving them a
officer, I
lesson.
wasn't trying to kill them. I just, smashed them in the head and put nails in them.
But he doesn't kill them, does he? And they stay out of his house, and he manages miraculously to clean the entire house before his
parents get there. Yeah, so you know what? If you want to leave your 8-year-old kids behind, no, I do not. We do not condone leaving your 8-year-old children on their own.
No, we do not. However, how many children do they have? This has always bothered me. Do they foster? Are they all their kids? Because I swear there's like 12 kids, and I know like 2 of them are cousins. But what about the rest of them? And I'm sorry, but Macaulay Culkin is not related to Buzz, because Buzz is butt ugly and Macaulay's like the cutest thing ever.
It's a bit harsh.
Sorry.
Well, is his brother the cousin or his brother in it?
His real life brother was the cousin.
Oh, was
Phil
the cousin?
Fuller.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at that. But yeah, there were lots of children. And when they were counting them, She did include... No, because she did... Was that just the kids that she counted?
It was, the kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many there is. But yeah, there were lots of kids.
You're what the French call les incompetents.
You're the one who said it first. How many kids were there, Lorraine? Well, I don't know, Harry. How many were there?
10, 11, 9.
I thought there were 12.
I swear there's 12.
Yeah.
And then she counts that nosy kid's head.
Yeah. I thought there were 12.
Still, you'd know if your kid wasn't there, surely. I don't know.
Not when you've got 12.
Nah,
That's why you only have one. You always know when you count them. One. Done.
I made my family disappear. We could just quote this all day.
I know.
No, I think it's great. I think it's definitely a family film. I think people of all ages can appreciate this film.
And it's definitely the ultimate Christmas film. I mean, when Christmas comes around, all you hear is like, when I'm going to watch Home Alone. Yeah. When is it going to be on? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you probably own it on DVD. I know I do.
I'm ashamed to say I don't. And today I came very close to buying it. But, budgetary reasons, I couldn't. But usually it's on some streaming site and it's not at the moment. And I put up my Christmas tree watching it and it's just the best feeling ever. And I just have so much fun. When you think of Home Alone, I don't think you necessarily think Christmas, but then it comes to the end scenes and he's just getting everything.
Oh, do you know what's really Christmassy? Is the man next door and when he goes to the church.
Yeah.
The old guy that he thinks he's a killer or something. He's
scared of him. Yeah.
No, that's a really nice bit. It's a really touching bit.
I love that bit.
But yeah, no, that's the Christmassy bit for me.
Yeah, and he's just like, if I could talk to my parents, I'd tell them,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Or is that scene? Yeah, that's that scene.
When he's with him, he talks to him in the church because he's not talking to his kids, his son.
And
and he's got a grandkid. Yeah. Oh.
A scene between a young character and an old character is just always good. If you think about it.
I think it's because the young one is so innocent.
Yeah. It's like a good night, Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh. But yeah, when he's putting the Christmas tree and all the decorations to rights at the end, and he puts the milk out and everything the night before, and then she rocks up with John Candy just dropping her off, and she's just like, and she sees him, and he's got the best dressing gown on ever. I wanted that when I was a kid. Yeah, that's where you're like, that is Christmas. And that was it on this week's Thoughtful Film Chat, but actually kind of TV chat.
It was TV chat. So if you want, you can feel free to email us on showmethepodcast@gmail.com. And if, what's your favourite film, why don't you tell us and tell us what you want to listen about.
Give us
film,
your thoughts.
TV, Netflix, Amazon, any of it. Tell us your thoughts, and you can do that by, like I said, emailing us, or you can check us out on our Facebook page, on our Instagram feed, which is Show Me the Podcast, and you can also follow us on Twitter, which is SMTPcast.
And where can we find you, Lorraine?
Well, I personally do a blog on parenting,
which is very funny.
It's very messed up, which is called Winging It, The Truth About Parenting, which you can find on WordPress. But because I can't fit that name into any other page, apart from Facebook, that is, you can also find me on Instagram at Lorraine_Smith. That's Smith with a Y, or Twitter, which is Lorraine Smith, again Smith with a Y, 74. So hit me up. And Harry, what about you?
Well, I attempt to write a travel blog, and I also do the occasional film edit as these travels. I am Tales of Peck on WordPress, Twitter, and Instagram. I also create some videos with my other partner in crime, Alec, and we are Head Productions on Vimeo. So yeah, we're migrating to YouTube at some point once I get a few more edits done.
Yeah, so you've been listening to Show Me the
Cockpass.
Cockpass.
Wow.
You've been listening to Show Me the Podcast, and thanks for listening. And after we come back after your festive season, and once my co-host Harry gets back from Bali, we will be discussing in episode 4 films that were so amazing the first time that you wish you could see them again.
So we'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
La 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 la
la la la la la la la la
la.
Ho ho ho. Merry Christmas.